Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone's having a good had a good weekend and is having a good beginning of the week. I am still preparing to go out in the woods and do an overnight with Sasquatch. That has not been canceled. Okay, but when I say preparation is everything, preparing for this is going to be totally different for me. I'm used to going into the woods and hunting and for a Sasquatch that are mean, aggressive, and wanting to kill you and rip you apart. But I've been talking to the farmers in this area, and apparently during the winter, these farmers have got together and set up feeding spots on the parts of their farm where the woods and where wood line is, and they would set up feeding spots designed for these Sasquatch creatures, so they stop stealing the cattle. So they would go during the winter, and then during the summer they don't do nothing. During the summer, the Sasquatch would go to my boss's house and basically spend the summer there because that's where the crops are being grown. Well, there's crops in other farmers' fields, but so they would get their vegetables there and hunt on my boss's land. But then during the winter they move around, but they stay in that area where they sleep at during the winter, or how they sleep or whatever. I don't know anything about that, but it seems like these farmers know that they're there, what they are. The state police, which is the headquarters, which is 1 mile from my boss's house, knows about these creatures. Everyone in that area knows about these creatures, but of course they keep quiet about it because they want to be the laughing stock, And it's good to know that these creatures aren't aggressive. No one's ever been attacked. No one's ever been killed. I mean, I heard stories from people who's only lived there a short time who said these creatures have killed someone, but I never found anything on it. But it's good to know what these creatures are like, that they're pretty much docile, and they pretty much know what people are. They know. My boss told me a story one time, about 50 years ago. He said this happened 50 years ago. He doesn't deer hunt, so what it was one of the guys who deer hunts knew that he didn't deer hunt, so they brought him a deer, and in return my boss gave them this big old huge salmon, right? And he did that every year for about 5 years with this one guy, this one farmer he knows, train different, because he goes salmon fishing all the time, but he doesn't hunt. And the farmer hunts but doesn't go salmon fishing, so they do a trade-off. Well, one time they did it outside, and about a week later, this is when Sasquatch made himself known to my boss. This was about 50 years ago, he says. It was, quite a long time ago, back when I was about 10 years old. I didn't know my boss then, but, he said he was sitting in his front yard, and Sasquatch, about a 9-foot creature, comes walking out of the woods. And of course, my boss is freaking the fuck out, like I would too, Over his shoulder, he's carrying a deer. Drops the deer about 20 feet from my boss. And he goes like this. Starts pointing it like, this is for you to eat, Then he sticks his hand out, because I guess he wanted some of that salmon. So my boss caught on right away. He went in the freezer, grabbed the biggest salmon he can get, went out to where the deer was dropped, because the Sasquatch had backed up, and dropped the salmon, And he turned around and he went to walk. We left the deer there. He turned around and walked away. And then when he turned back around, the Sasquatch and the salmon were gone. I said, now that's a sweet story. That's a story of a Sasquatch making the first attempt at communication with someone without showing aggression. Now, me personally, I'm used to dealing with the ones that want to tear you apart, that won't make any type of communication except aggression. Well, I'm finding out that these creatures in this area are docile and really friendly with the people in the area. That's the information I need to know, okay? Because if I try to cook something out there, will they come in thinking that the food I'm cooking is for them? Will they attack me? Or will they just let me be, maybe come out and have their hand out and they want some too? I mean, stuff like that is very, very nice to know about, because if this is what they want and this is what they expect, then maybe I shouldn't cook anything out there at all. Maybe I should just take a sack lunch or something with me. And maybe take some grain or something, because they're used to being fed grain, so take a big sack of grain and dump it out there and, you know, catch them feeding or something. You know, me being new to the area, they're not used to me, so they may not even, they'll let me know they're there. I was told by the locals, they'll let me know they're there. They'll break branches, they'll howl, they'll do all the stuff they normally do. But as far as showing themselves, I was told that if they show themselves, that means they feel comfortable with you right away. What you want to do is, one of the farmers told me, I told him that I was going to use my car as my shelter. Open up the back of your car and point your back of your car to the woods and show that you have no weapons. Well, you know, I'm going to have a pistol, which I'm going to hide that. But it's going to show I have no rifles. And my pistol's going to be in my pack. I mean, I'm not going to have it shown. See, like I said, I'm used to dealing with creatures that are aggressive, mean, and want to tear you apart. But from what I understand, all you got to do is give these creatures some food, something to snack on, and you make friends with them. It's almost like it questions, the biggest questions, what are these creatures? Are they some kind of humanoid that all they're trying to do is live in peace? Do they see us as food? Do they see us as friends? We don't know what these creatures are, you know. I asked any of the farmers if they got any pictures, no one ever thought of to take pictures or videos of these creatures reacting to what these farmers and these other people are doing. And I'm like, man, that sucks. So I'm gonna try to become friends with some of these farmers this coming winter, to see if maybe I can get in on this feeding, help them feed the Sasquatch. You guys know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to get me a good video in. Now, they say they when they feed, they put the feed out by 8 o'clock at night, even though it's dark. But they don't come around the troughs or the feeding areas till about midnight, because apparently they don't move till about midnight. They don't move around till about midnight. I'm like, well, I've done winter camping before, and I do got infrared on my camera. But I'm still gonna, next weekend, I believe next weekend is gonna be where I'm going to have my sleeping with Sasquatch. But just find out what's going on. I mean, if these creatures is as docile as what people are telling me they are, I mean, it's almost like these creatures are more or less neighbors that just looking for a handout, you know? I mean, but the locals treat these creatures really good, and the story on the sign up communication that this Sasquatch showed my boss with the trade-off of the deer and the fish, that story in itself was amazing, because when he told it, my boss doesn't lie, he doesn't make up stories. He's not that type of person. He's a very serious individual. You know, he's always been serious. He's not one to joke around, even in the least. Even when everyone else is joking around and it's time to relax, this man is straight serious. But like I said, when you go into an area that you've never been before, preparation is everything. And all the information I can get in this area on these creatures where I'm going to spend the night at, I need to know this stuff, so I know how to act or react to anything they may or may not do. And it tells me in different ways what I can and can't do. I think, if anything, I might just take a bag of feed out with me instead of doing the bacon and the fish, because the bacon and the fish sounds like it would lure them in, but then they would want to make friends, because they would like bring me a deer or a rabbit or something to try to trade me for that, I would have as a small amount, and that wouldn't be right. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen, but I think I'm going to take a small bag of feed with me and to me, that'd be on the safe side. If these creatures are as docile and friendly as what the locals around there say they are, I should have no problem. Sorry about the shaking of the camera. It's, I'm sitting on a wobbly chair right now. Just about fell. But yeah, you always want to prepare yourself when you go into an area. You always ask the locals, Locals are willing to talk. If you get one farmer to talk, then you ask that farmer, well, is there another farmer that can corroborate this? And is there another farmer that could that would be more willing to talk to me with you there? And he took me down to a cafe where all the farmers basically hang out in the morning, and after the cows are fed, the crops are, they do what they gotta do, and they're all telling me all kinds of stories. Now, one of these stories, all these stories sound like these creatures just want to live life and enjoy life, and they really romanticize these creatures, and I'm not used to hearing that or seeing it or anything, But we'll find out what these creatures are about. If they're aggressive, I'll be prepared for that, because I will have a pistol with me. Maybe not a rifle, but I'm gonna do everything that my instincts tell me to do. Now, my instincts tell me not to bait and not to cook anything. And then my other instincts are telling me, well, you want to find out what these creatures are about, you gotta bait them. You gotta find out what they're about. Will they take the bait? Will they come out and have a little more or less break bread with you? We'll find out. Next weekend is when I plan on going on my sleeping with Sasquatch. Or will they even make themselves known to me? Just like I said, I'm new in the area, so, mosquitoes are biting me up like crazy out here. Oh well. You all have a good day now. Or a good night, whatever it may be. The gems of life's adventures, keeping it real.